Discipline is the invisible force that shapes every great achievement in history. It's the bridge between dreams and reality, between who you are today and who you are capable of becoming. Talent can give you a head start. Luck can open a door, but only discipline can keep you moving forward when the excitement fades and challenges rise. Without discipline, even the strongest ambitions eventually crumble. Most people think discipline is about punishment or restriction, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Discipline is freedom, the freedom to choose your future instead of being controlled by impulses, habits, or distractions. It's the skill that allows you to rise above excuses, delay gratification, and stay true to your vision, no matter how difficult the journey becomes. In this audiobook, we will unlock the Discipline Code, a set of timeless principles that will help you master self-control and build unstoppable willpower. You'll learn how to create systems that make discipline automatic, silence the voice of excuses, break free from instant gratification, and turn pain into fuel for growth. Each chapter is designed to give you practical step-by-step strategies, so you can apply these lessons immediately to your life. This is not just about achieving a single goal. It's about becoming a disciplined person in every area of life, someone who commands respect and lives with integrity. So take a deep breath, clear your mind, and open your heart to change. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Define your why before you begin. Every journey starts with a reason. Without a clear reason, discipline becomes a burden, a constant uphill climb that wears you down until you eventually quit. The truth is, discipline on its own isn't enough. You need something deeper, something that fuels you when your energy runs low and your motivation disappears. That something is your why. Your why is the driving force behind your actions. It's the answer to the question, why am I doing this? Without it, even the most determined person will eventually crumble. Think about it. Waking up at 5 in the morning, pushing through tough workouts, staying late to work on a dream, saying no to temptations, all of that requires effort. If you don't have a powerful reason, you'll take the easy way out every time. Your why has to be personal. It can't be about impressing others or chasing a goal someone else set for you. It has to come from within. Maybe it's about giving your family a better life. Maybe it's about proving to yourself that you are capable of more. Maybe it's about leaving behind a legacy that outlives you. Whatever it is, it must be so meaningful that when things get hard, and they will, you refuse to quit. Here's the thing, most people never take the time to define their why. They set random goals because they sound good, or because they saw someone else achieve them. But when the first obstacle appears, they give up because they never built a foundation strong enough to keep them standing. It's like trying to build a house on sand. It looks fine until the first storm comes. Take a moment to ask yourself, what do you really want? Not what you think you should want, not what others expect of you, but what your heart truly desires. Write it down, get specific. If your why is vague, your actions will be vague. Clarity creates power. Once you have your why, remind yourself of it daily. When you wake up, think about it. When you feel like giving up, picture it in your mind. Let it become the fire that keeps you moving forward. Discipline without a why feels like punishment. Discipline with a why feels like purpose. Here's a simple truth. Your why doesn't have to make sense to anyone else. It's yours, it's personal, and it's powerful enough to pull you through the darkest moments, if you hold on to it tightly. Before you take another step on your journey of self-control and willpower, define your why. Everything we'll cover in this audiobook will build on this foundation. Without it, none of the strategies will stick. With it, you'll have the strength to endure, to stay consistent, and to win, no matter how long the road ahead may seem. This is where your discipline begins. Chapter 2. Build unbreakable self-control. Self-control is the backbone of discipline. Without it, every good intention falls apart the moment temptation shows up. Think about how many times you've said, "Tomorrow, I'll start eating healthier," or "I'll get up early next week," only to find yourself slipping back into old habits. It's not because you're weak or broken. It's because self-control is like a muscle, and just like any muscle, it needs to be trained, strengthened, and built over time. When most people think of self-control, they imagine sheer willpower, gritting their teeth, forcing themselves to say no, and trying to power through with nothing but determination. That approach might work for a little while, but it's exhausting. The more you rely on raw willpower alone, the faster it burns out. The secret to unbreakable self-control isn't to fight harder, it's to train smarter. Here's the first key. Understand your triggers. Everyone has certain situations, places, or feelings that weaken their self-control. For some, it's stress. For others, boredom or fatigue. Maybe you snack on junk food when you're anxious, or you procrastinate when a task feels overwhelming. Whatever it is, you need to identify those moments clearly. You can't fight an enemy you can't see. When you know your triggers, you can prepare for them before they catch you off guard. The second key is small victories. Too many people try to change everything at once. Wake up at 5 a.m., run 5 miles, cut out all sugar, quit social media, and start reading 2 books a week. That level of change is unsustainable. Instead, focus on one small habit at a time. If you struggle with hitting the snooze button, just start by getting up 5 minutes earlier. If you want to stop overeating, begin by swapping one unhealthy snack for a healthier option. These small wins build momentum and confidence. Over time, they stack up and create massive transformation. Next, create barriers between you and temptation. Self-control isn't about relying on strength alone. It's about designing your environment to support you. If you're trying to eat better, don't keep junk food in your house. If you want to focus on your work, put your phone in another room, or turn off notifications. Make the things you want to avoid harder to access, and make the things you want to do easier to start. This isn't about weakness, it's about being strategic. Even the strongest people can be tempted if the wrong thing is right in front of them every day. Another powerful strategy is delayed gratification. Our world is full of instant rewards. Click a button, get what you want. But every time you train yourself to wait, even for a little while, you strengthen your self-control. Try this when you want to buy something impulsively. Wait 24 hours before making the purchase. When you feel like skipping a workout, tell yourself you only have to exercise for 5 minutes. Often once you start, you'll keep going. Learning to pause, to create space between impulse and action, gives you incredible power over your choices. And let's not forget the role of self-talk. The way you speak to yourself matters. If you constantly tell yourself, "I have no self-control," or "I always fail," you're programming your mind to believe it. Instead, start using language that builds strength. "I am learning to master my choices. I can handle discomfort. I choose long-term rewards over short-term pleasure." Your words shape your mindset, and your mindset shapes your actions. One of the biggest misconceptions about self-control is that it's about restriction. It's not. Self-control is freedom. When you master it, you're no longer a slave to impulses, cravings, or bad habits. You become the one in charge. You decide when to say yes and when to say no. You create a life built on intention rather than reaction. Here's the beautiful truth. Every time you practice self-control, you make the next decision easier. Each small moment of strength compounds, like interest in a bank account. What feels hard today will feel natural tomorrow, and eventually, it becomes who you are. As you move through this journey, remember that setbacks are part of the process. You will slip. You will have days when you give in to temptation. That doesn't mean you've failed. It means you're human. The key is to get back up quickly and keep going. Every comeback strengthens your resolve. Building unbreakable self-control isn't about being perfect. It's about getting stronger each day, about building a life where your choices align with your deepest values. When you master self-control, you gain the power to shape your destiny, and that power is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. Start today, make one small decision that strengthens your self-control, then make another tomorrow. Over time, these choices will add up, and you'll look back in awe at how far you've come. This is the foundation of discipline, and it's the skill that will carry you through every challenge ahead. Chapter 3. Master the small daily wins. When people think about success, they often imagine one big dramatic moment, the promotion that changes everything, the business that suddenly takes off, the life-changing breakthrough that seems to appear overnight. But here's the truth that most people don't see. Success is never built in one giant leap. It's built in small, often unnoticed steps that happen day after day. It's not about one massive effort. It's about the small daily wins that slowly, steadily, and surely shape your life. Think of it like planting seeds. One seed doesn't grow into a towering tree overnight. It needs time, care, and consistent nurturing. Each day you water it, give it sunlight, and protect it from harm. At first you might not see any visible progress. It may even seem like nothing is happening. But beneath the surface, growth is happening, and eventually what was once invisible becomes undeniable. Your habits work the exact same way. The problem is, many people underestimate the power of small actions. They either want instant results, or nothing at all. They go all in for a week, maybe even a month, and when they don't see dramatic change, they give up. That's why most resolutions fail. It's not because people are lazy or incapable. It's because they've misunderstood the process of transformation. Real change isn't loud or flashy. It's quiet, it's consistent, and it's built one small win at a time. Here's what small daily wins look like. Waking up 10 minutes earlier than usual to plan your day. Choosing water over soda. Reading a few pages of a book instead of scrolling through social media. Doing a quick workout instead of saying you don't have time. These actions may seem tiny in the moment, almost insignificant, but they are not insignificant. They are votes for the kind of person you want to become. Each small win says, "This is who I am. This is the direction I'm heading." The beauty of small wins is that they compound. Just like saving a little money each day eventually grows into real wealth, small positive actions stack on top of each other over time. Missing one day won't destroy you, just like eating one salad won't transform you. It's the pattern that matters. If you focus on consistently winning the day, those days will turn into weeks, those weeks into months, and before you know it, you've completely changed your life. Here's a simple way to start. Identify 3 small wins you can aim for each day. They don't have to be huge. In fact, the smaller, the better, especially in the beginning. Maybe your 3 wins are drinking 8 glasses of water, writing in a journal for 5 minutes, and walking for 15 minutes. That's it. Achieving these small wins daily builds a sense of accomplishment and confidence. Over time, you can increase the difficulty, but the key is to start simple and stay consistent. Another important piece is to celebrate your wins, even the small ones. Most people are too hard on themselves. They focus only on how far they have to go and forget to acknowledge how far they've come. When you celebrate a small victory, you reinforce the behavior in your brain. You create a positive association with discipline. It doesn't have to be a big celebration. Sometimes just pausing to say, "I did it," is enough to keep the momentum going. But here's where discipline comes in. You can't only act when you feel like it. There will be days when you're tired, unmotivated, or tempted to skip the habit. That's normal. Those are the days that truly count, because anyone can show up when it's easy. But when you show up despite resistance, even if you only do the bare minimum, you prove to yourself that you are serious about growth. And that proof builds unshakable confidence. Remember, the goal isn't perfection. You don't need to win every single day flawlessly. You just need to win more days than you lose. If you slip, don't spiral into guilt or shame. Simply get back to your next small win. Momentum doesn't come from never falling. It comes from always getting back up. One day you'll look back and realize how powerful those small wins really were. The healthy body, the sharp mind, the strong relationships, the thriving career, they won't have come from one heroic moment of discipline. They will have come from hundreds, maybe thousands of tiny decisions stacked on top of each other. Decisions that no one else noticed, but you knew mattered deeply. So don't underestimate the small things. Your future self is being shaped right now, in this moment, by the choices you make today. Focus on winning the day, one decision at a time, because when you master the small daily wins, you set yourself on an unstoppable path toward the life you've always wanted. Chapter 4. Break the chains of instant gratification. We live in a world that worships speed. Everything is now, now, now. You can order food without leaving your couch, get answers to any question in seconds, and entertain yourself endlessly with just a swipe of your finger. On the surface, that sounds amazing. But there's a hidden cost. The more we get used to instant rewards, the harder it becomes to work for the things that truly matter. Instant gratification is like a sugar rush. It feels good for a moment, but it always fades and often leaves you worse off than before. Think about it. Scrolling on social media gives you a quick hit of dopamine, but hours later you realize you wasted valuable time. Eating that donut feels great while you're chewing, but later you regret it. Spending money on something you don't need gives you a burst of excitement, but then the guilt kicks in when you see your bank balance. Instant gratification offers pleasure now, but it steals long-term happiness. Discipline, on the other hand, is about delayed gratification. It's about choosing what you want most over what you want right now. That's not always easy. In fact, it can feel painful at first, because your brain is wired to seek comfort and avoid discomfort. But here's the secret. The discomfort you feel when you delay gratification is temporary, while the rewards you gain are lasting. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine two paths. The first path is smooth, easy, and fun at the beginning, but as you go deeper, it becomes harder and full of regret. That's the path of instant gratification. The second path feels challenging at first, maybe even uncomfortable, but as you keep walking it gets easier, and the rewards grow greater and greater. That's the path of delayed gratification. Most people choose the first path because it feels good right now, only to find themselves trapped later on. So how do you break free from this cycle? First, start noticing your impulses. The moment you feel that urge to grab your phone, eat that snack, or procrastinate on an important task, pause for a few seconds. Ask yourself, is this action serving my long-term goals or just giving me a quick fix? That tiny moment of awareness is powerful. It creates space between your desire and your decision, and in that space you gain control. Second, replace quick rewards with meaningful ones. If you're trying to stop a negative habit, don't just remove it, replace it. For example, if you scroll endlessly on your phone because you're bored, try reading a few pages of an inspiring book or going for a short walk. If you crave junk food, keep healthy snacks nearby. The idea isn't to punish yourself, but to redirect your energy toward actions that actually benefit you. Third, practice waiting. Start small. If you want to check your messages, wait 5 minutes. If you want to buy something online, Wait 24 hours. If you feel like quitting during a workout, push yourself to keep going for just 2 more minutes. Every time you delay gratification, even in tiny ways, you're strengthening your self-control muscle. Over time, this muscle grows so strong that temptations lose their grip on you. Another powerful tool is visualizing the future. When you're faced with a decision, picture the outcome of both choices. Imagine how you'll feel if you give in to the moment versus how you'll feel if you stay disciplined. For example, think about how proud you'll feel in 6 months if you stay committed to your fitness plan, or how disappointed you'll feel if you keep quitting. When you clearly see the future consequences, it becomes easier to make the right choice today. Breaking the chains of instant gratification isn't about denying yourself joy. It's about choosing a deeper, more meaningful kind of joy. The kind that comes from growth, achievement, and self-respect. When you delay gratification, you're not saying no forever. You're simply saying, not yet, because I'm building something greater. And here's the beautiful part. Once you experience the rewards of delayed gratification, you start craving that feeling more than the quick fixes. The pride of finishing a hard task. The satisfaction of sticking to a promise you made to yourself. The excitement of seeing long-term progress. That kind of fulfillment lasts far longer than any momentary pleasure ever could. So starting today, challenge yourself to pause before you act. Ask yourself, will this choice move me closer to the life I truly want, or will it pull me further away? Each time you choose the long-term reward over the short-term rush, you're breaking another link in the chains of instant gratification. And with enough consistent choices, those chains will shatter completely, setting you free to create the life you've always imagined. Chapter 5. Create systems that make discipline automatic. Here's a truth most people don't realize. Willpower is limited. You can't rely on sheer force of will to carry you through every decision, every temptation, and every challenge. If you do, you'll eventually burn out. That's why so many people start strong but fade over time. They're constantly fighting themselves instead of setting up a structure that supports them. The real secret to lasting discipline isn't trying harder, it's designing smarter. It's creating systems that make discipline automatic. Think of a system as a set of routines, habits, and structures that make the right choice the easy choice. When you have a strong system, you don't need to wrestle with temptation all day because you've already built an environment that naturally guides you toward success. It's like having guardrails on a road. They keep you moving in the right direction without you having to think about it constantly. Here's an example. Imagine someone trying to eat healthier. Without a system, every meal becomes a battle. Should I order fast food or cook something nutritious? That decision requires willpower, and over time it wears you down. But with a system, there's no battle. You meal prep on Sunday, keep healthy food ready in your fridge, and remove junk food from your home. Now, eating healthy isn't a matter of willpower, it's the default. You've made it easy to succeed and harder to fail. This principle applies to every area of your life. If you want to work out consistently, don't rely on waking up and feeling motivated. Build a system. Lay out your workout clothes the night before. Schedule your workouts on your calendar, like important appointments. Have a backup plan for rainy days or busy schedules. The less thinking required, the better. Because when something is part of your routine, you don't debate it, you just do it. Another key to building effective systems is reducing decision fatigue. Every decision you make throughout the day uses mental energy. That's why by evening, it's so much harder to resist temptations or stay productive. You've used up your decision-making power. The solution: automate as many decisions as possible. Wear similar outfits to save time and energy, like many successful people do. Plan your meals in advance. Set specific times for tasks instead of trying to figure it out on the spot. The fewer choices you have to make, the more energy you have for what truly matters. Your environment is also part of your system. If your surroundings are filled with distractions, you're constantly fighting uphill battles. But if you shape your environment, you can make discipline almost effortless. Want to read more? Keep a book on your nightstand or desk. Want to spend less time on your phone? Leave it in another room while you work. Want to save money? Delete your credit card information from online stores so impulse purchases become harder. Small tweaks in your environment lead to massive changes in behavior. Here's something most people overlook. Systems aren't just about what you do. They're also about who you surround yourself with. If you spend time with people who are lazy, negative, or undisciplined, their habits will rub off on you. But if you surround yourself with people who are focused, driven, and committed to growth, their energy will lift you up. Make it part of your system to regularly connect with those who inspire you and challenge you to rise higher. The beautiful thing about systems is that once they're in place, discipline becomes almost automatic. You don't have to wake up every day wondering how you'll stay on track. Your habits, routines, and environment are already working for you. It's like setting a sail on a boat. Once it's positioned correctly, the wind does most of the work. But remember, building a system takes time. Start small. Pick one area of your life: health, finances, productivity, relationships, and focus on creating a simple structure that supports your goals. Once that system is solid, move on to another area. Step by step, you'll create a life where discipline flows naturally, instead of constantly feeling forced. When you look at the most successful people in the world, you'll notice something they all have in common: strong systems. They don't rely on fleeting motivation. They design their lives in a way that makes success the default outcome. You can do the same. So stop fighting endless daily battles. Instead, take a step back and ask yourself, how can I set things up so that the right actions happen automatically? When you master this skill, you'll discover a powerful truth. Discipline doesn't have to feel like a struggle. With the right systems in place, it becomes second nature, and that's when your growth becomes unstoppable. Chapter 6. Silence the voice of excuses. Every single one of us has a voice in our head. It's that little whisper that shows up at the worst possible moments. The voice that says, "You're too tired, you can do it tomorrow. It's too hard, you don't have enough time. What if you fail?" You know that voice. We all do. It's the voice of excuses, and if you don't learn to silence it, it will control your life. Excuses are comforting. They give you a way out. They make you feel better about avoiding discomfort or hard work. But here's the brutal truth. Every time you listen to an excuse, you trade your future for temporary comfort. It might feel good in the moment, but deep down, you know you're holding yourself back. Think about this. Has there ever been a time when you gave up on something important because of an excuse, and later you regretted it? That regret stings because part of you knows the truth. You could have done it, but you let your mind talk you out of it. That's the cost of listening to that inner voice. It steals your potential one small decision at a time. The first step to silencing excuses is to recognize them for what they are: lies. Excuses often sound reasonable. They disguise themselves as logic. I can't start my business because the economy is bad. I can't work out today because I'm too busy. I can't save money because my expenses are too high. On the surface, these statements seem valid. But if you dig deeper, you'll see the truth. There's always someone out there with fewer resources, less time, and more challenges who's still making it happen. The difference isn't circumstance, it's mindset. When you catch yourself making an excuse, pause and challenge it. Ask yourself, is this really true? Or is it just fear dressed up as logic? Most of the time, you'll realize it's fear. Fear of failure, fear of discomfort, fear of what others will think. When you name the fear, you take away its power. The second step is to replace excuses with action. The longer you sit and think about whether or not you should do something, the louder the excuses become. Action is the enemy of excuses. The moment you take even a small step forward, the voice begins to fade. For example, if you're dreading a workout, don't think about doing the whole thing. Just tell yourself, I'll put on my shoes and start for 5 minutes. Once you're moving, momentum takes over. Another powerful strategy is to change your language. Excuses often begin with disempowering phrases like, I can't, or I don't have time. Start shifting the way you talk to yourself. Instead of saying, I don't have time, say, it's not a priority right now. That simple change forces you to be honest with yourself. If you really want something, you'll make time for it. It's also important to watch who you surround yourself with. Excuses are contagious. If you spend time with people who constantly complain and justify why they can't change, you'll start adopting their mindset without even realizing it. On the other hand, if you surround yourself with people who take ownership of their lives, their energy will push you to do the same. Build a circle of accountability that challenges you instead of enabling your excuses. Now here's something most people don't realize. Excuses are often rooted in self-doubt. Deep down, you might not believe you're capable of reaching your goals, so you create excuses as a way to protect yourself from failure. But here's the truth, you are capable. You might not have all the skills yet, you might not have all the answers, but you can learn, grow and adapt. The only way to prove to yourself that you can is by taking action despite the doubt. Every time you silence an excuse and follow through on a commitment, you strengthen your identity. You start to see yourself as someone who keeps promises, especially the promises you make to yourself. That inner trust is priceless. It builds confidence and momentum, and the more you do it, the quieter that voice of excuses becomes. Imagine your life 1 year from now, if you stopped letting excuses run the show. Imagine the progress you could make in your health, your relationships, your finances, your dreams. That future is possible, but it requires a decision to stop negotiating with your excuses. The next time that little voice whispers, you can't, respond with action. The next time it says, tomorrow, act today. Every time you refuse to give in, you take back control of your life. Excuses will never fully disappear, but they don't have to control you. With awareness, action, and courage, you can turn down the volume until they become nothing more than background noise. And when that happens, you'll unlock a new level of freedom, the freedom to live the life you were meant to live, without limits, without lies, and without excuses. Chapter 7. Build mental toughness under pressure. Life will test you, not once, not twice, but over and over again. There will be moments when everything feels like it's falling apart, when plans fail, when people let you down, when challenges seem too big to overcome. In those moments, it's not talent, luck, or even skill that will carry you through. It's mental toughness. It's the ability to stay calm under pressure, to keep moving forward when every part of you wants to quit. Mental toughness isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. Just like muscles grow stronger through resistance, your mind becomes tougher through challenges. Most people run from discomfort. They avoid hard situations, thinking that by staying comfortable, they're protecting themselves. But here's the truth. Avoiding difficulty doesn't make you stronger. It makes you fragile. When life finally throws something big your way, you won't be ready. If you want to build unshakable mental toughness, you must embrace pressure instead of fearing it. Pressure is a sign that you're growing. It means you're in the game, pushing yourself beyond your limits. Think about a diamond. It's just a piece of coal that went through extreme pressure. Without that pressure, it would have stayed ordinary. The same is true for you. The first step is to shift your perspective on challenges. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" start asking, "What is this teaching me?" Challenges aren't punishments, they're opportunities. Every obstacle you face contains a lesson that will make you stronger if you're willing to face it head-on. When you see challenges as teachers, instead of enemies, you take back your power. Next, focus on controlling what you can control. Under pressure, it's easy to spiral into fear and anxiety by obsessing over things you can't change. That's wasted energy. Mental toughness comes from narrowing your focus to what's within your control, your attitude, your effort, your preparation. You can't always control the storm, but you can control how you navigate through it. One of the best ways to practice this is through your breathing. When you feel overwhelmed, stop and take a few slow, deep breaths. It sounds simple, but it's powerful. Your breath can calm your nervous system and clear your mind, giving you the space to make better decisions. This simple habit can turn panic into power. Another key to building mental toughness is training yourself to do hard things on purpose. Don't wait for life to throw challenges at you. Seek them out. This might mean waking up earlier than you want to, finishing that workout when you feel tired, or having that difficult conversation you've been avoiding. Every time you do something hard, you send a message to yourself: "I am strong. I can handle discomfort." Over time, this becomes your identity. Mental toughness also requires resilience, the ability to bounce back after setbacks. Let's be honest, you will fail, you will make mistakes, you will have days when nothing goes your way. That's part of the journey. The difference between those who succeed and those who give up isn't that one group never fails, it's that they keep getting back up. They refuse to let failure define them. Each setback becomes fuel for a comeback. A powerful mindset shift is to see failure as feedback. Instead of saying, "I failed," say, "I learned." This small change in language keeps you moving forward. Remember, every master was once a beginner who refused to quit. Surrounding yourself with the right people also matters. When you're under pressure, having a strong support system can make all the difference. Spend time with those who encourage you, challenge you, and remind you of your strength when you forget it yourself. Lastly, mental toughness is about commitment. You must decide, deep down, that you will not quit, no matter how tough it gets. This doesn't mean being reckless or ignoring reality. It means that when things get hard, your first instinct isn't to run, it's to stand your ground and figure it out. Imagine standing in the middle of a storm. The wind is fierce, the rain is pounding, and you can barely see ahead. Most people would retreat, but the mentally tough person plants their feet, takes a deep breath, and pushes forward step by step. Eventually the storm passes, and they come out stronger on the other side. Pressure is inevitable, you can't avoid it, but you can prepare for it. Every challenge you face is a chance to train your mind, to prove to yourself that you're stronger than you think. When you build mental toughness, life stops feeling like something that's happening to you and starts feeling like something you are actively mastering. So the next time you feel the weight of pressure, don't see it as a sign to quit. See it as a test you are ready to pass, because with each moment of pressure, you are shaping yourself into someone unbreakable, someone who doesn't just survive challenges, but thrives because of them. Chapter 8. Eliminate distractions and guard your focus. In today's world, focus has become one of the rarest and most valuable skills you can develop. Everywhere you turn, something is competing for your attention. Your phone buzzes, notifications pop up, social media calls your name, and the endless stream of entertainment is just one click away. It's no wonder so many people feel exhausted, scattered, and unproductive. They're not lazy, they're simply drowning in distractions. Here's the thing about distractions: they don't just steal your time, they steal your potential. Every time you switch your attention from one thing to another, you lose momentum. Your brain has to reset, and that costs you energy. It might feel like you're getting things done because you're busy, but in reality you're spinning your wheels. True progress doesn't come from being busy, it comes from being focused. Focus is like a magnifying glass. If you scatter sunlight across a piece of paper, nothing happens. But if you concentrate it through a single point, it becomes powerful enough to burn. Your mind works the same way. When you direct all your attention toward one task, you become unstoppable. The problem is, most people never get to that level of focus because they're constantly being pulled in 1,000 different directions. The first step to guarding your focus is identifying your biggest distractions. For many people, it's their phone. For others, it's television, endless news feeds, or even certain people who constantly interrupt their time. Be brutally honest with yourself about what steals your focus. You can't fix what you refuse to face. Once you know your distractions, take steps to remove or reduce them. If your phone is a problem, don't just silence it, physically put it in another room while you work. Turn off non-essential notifications. Delete apps that consume your time, but don't add value to your life. If television keeps you from your goals, set strict viewing hours or remove the temptation entirely. If certain environments make it hard to focus, create a space designed for deep work, somewhere clean, quiet, and free of clutter. But eliminating distractions isn't just about your environment, it's about your mind. Even if you turn off your phone and close the door, mental distractions can still sabotage you. Worries, daydreams, and random thoughts can pull you away from what matters. That's why you need rituals to train your brain to focus. Start each work session with a simple routine, like taking 3 deep breaths, reviewing your top priorities, and setting a timer for focused work. Over time, your brain will learn that this routine means it's time to lock in. Another powerful strategy is time blocking. Instead of trying to fit your important tasks into random gaps throughout the day, schedule specific blocks of uninterrupted time. During these blocks, commit fully to one thing. No multitasking, no checking messages, just pure focused effort. Even 1 or 2 deep work sessions a day can produce more results than an entire day of scattered activity. You also need to set clear boundaries with others. If people constantly interrupt you, it's not just their fault, it's also a sign you haven't communicated your limits. Let family, friends, or co-workers know when you need uninterrupted time. You don't have to be harsh, but you do have to be firm. Your focus is valuable, and it's up to you to protect it. Here's something most people don't think about. Distractions aren't always bad things. Sometimes, they come disguised as opportunities. A new project, a social invitation, or a side hustle might sound exciting. But if it pulls you away from your main goal, it's still a distraction. Discipline isn't just about saying no to harmful things. It's about saying no to good things, so you can say yes to the best things. Protecting your focus also means protecting your energy. If you're exhausted, it's almost impossible to stay disciplined. Get enough sleep, eat nourishing food, and take care of your physical health. A sharp mind lives in a well-cared-for body. When you have energy, it's much easier to stay present and focused. Remember, your attention is one of the most powerful resources you have. Where your focus goes, your life flows. If you let distractions control you, your future will be shaped by randomness and chaos. But if you take control of your focus, You take control of your destiny. Imagine what you could achieve if you gave your full, undivided attention to one meaningful goal for just 1 year. The results would be life-changing. Most people will never experience that level of clarity, but you can if you're willing to eliminate distractions and guard your focus like it's treasure. Starting today, treat your attention as sacred. Cut away the noise, design an environment for deep work, and create habits that strengthen your focus. Every time you choose focus over distraction, you're building a future of purpose and power. And in a world full of chaos, that kind of discipline will make you unstoppable. Chapter 9. Harness the power of accountability. No matter how disciplined you are, there will be days when your motivation fades, when the voice of excuses grows loud, and when giving up feels easier than pushing forward. That's where accountability comes in. Accountability is the invisible force that keeps you moving, even when your willpower runs low. It's the extra layer of strength that pushes you to follow through on your commitments, not just because you want to, but because someone is counting on you. Think about this. When you promise yourself you'll do something, it's easy to break that promise, because no one else sees it. You tell yourself you'll work out, but no one notices if you don't. You say you'll save money, but no one calls you out when you spend recklessly. Humans are wired to avoid pain and seek comfort, and when there's no external consequence, comfort often wins. Accountability changes that. It adds a level of healthy pressure that makes quitting harder than continuing. There are many forms of accountability, and the most powerful one begins with public commitment. When you declare your goal to someone else, or better yet to a group, you instantly raise the stakes. Suddenly, it's not just about you anymore. If you quit, others will see it. That simple act of telling someone your intention dramatically increases your chances of following through. It's why people who work out with partners are far more consistent than those who exercise alone. When someone is expecting you to show up, you do. Another powerful form of accountability comes from mentors and coaches. A mentor doesn't just give advice. They hold you to a higher standard. They see your potential, and they won't let you settle for less. When you have someone wiser and more experienced guiding you, you gain both knowledge and responsibility. You don't want to disappoint them, and that drives you to stay disciplined. Peers can also play a huge role. Surround yourself with people who are striving for similar goals. This could be a mastermind group, a study partner, or even an online community. When you see others working hard, it fuels your own commitment. There's a powerful energy in collective progress. It's like running a race. You may start to slow down, but if you see the person next to you pushing forward, you'll dig deeper to keep pace. But accountability isn't just about other people. It's also about tracking your own progress. Numbers don't lie. When you measure your actions, you gain clarity. For example, if you're trying to get fit, track your workouts and your meals. If you're trying to grow your business, track your sales calls and revenue. When you see your progress, or lack of it on paper, you can't hide from the truth. That honesty can be uncomfortable, but it's essential for growth. Technology makes this easier than ever. Use apps, journals, or even a simple calendar to track your habits. Give yourself visual proof of your consistency. Seeing a streak of completed tasks grow longer each day can be incredibly motivating. You won't want to break the chain. Here's something important to remember. Accountability works both ways. It's not just about finding someone to hold you accountable. It's also about being accountable to someone else. When you support another person's growth, you strengthen your own discipline. Knowing that someone else is relying on you will make you rise to a higher level. Of course, there's a balance to strike. Accountability is not about shame or guilt. It's not about being harsh or tearing yourself down when you fall short. True accountability is rooted in support and progress. It's about having people, and systems that remind you of who you are and who you want to become, especially when you forget. If you've been trying to achieve something on your own and keep hitting roadblocks, it's time to bring accountability into the picture. Find a workout partner, hire a coach, join a group, or simply tell a trusted friend about your goals. Build a system where you regularly check in, review progress, and set new challenges. When you harness the power of accountability, you multiply your discipline. Suddenly it's not just your inner willpower fighting the battle, you have external forces pulling you forward. And when your inner drive and external accountability work together, quitting stops being an option. Imagine a year from now, looking back at the progress you've made, not just because you worked hard, but because you stayed consistent day after day, fueled by the support and expectations of those around you. That's the power of accountability. It takes discipline from something personal and private to something unstoppable and collective. And once you experience that level of strength, you'll never want to go back to doing it alone. Chapter 10. Turn pain into fuel for growth. Pain is one of life's greatest teachers. It doesn't matter who you are or where you come from. At some point, life will knock you down. You'll face setbacks, heartbreaks, disappointments, and failures. Most people see pain as something to avoid at all costs. They run from it, hide from it, or numb it with distractions. But here's the truth. Pain isn't your enemy. Pain is your greatest opportunity for growth. If you choose to use it, think about it. Every major breakthrough in history, every incredible story of transformation came from someone who faced deep pain and decided not to let it destroy them. They used it as fuel. They turned their struggles into strength. The difference between those who rise and those who stay stuck isn't the pain itself, it's how they respond to it. When you experience pain, you have two choices. You can let it break you, or you can let it build you. Most people choose the first path, without even realizing it. They dwell on the hurt, replay the failure in their mind, and allow bitterness to take root. Over time, that pain turns into resentment and self-doubt. But there's another path, the path of warriors, achievers and leaders. This is where you take the very thing that was meant to crush you and turn it into unstoppable fuel. The first step to transforming pain is acceptance. You can't grow from what you refuse to face. Pretending it doesn't hurt or burying it under busyness will only make it stronger. Be honest with yourself. Yes, it hurts. Yes, it's unfair. Yes, you wish it didn't happen. Accepting pain doesn't mean you like it. It simply means you're ready to deal with it directly instead of hiding from it. Once you've accepted it, the second step is finding the lesson inside the pain. Every painful experience carries a message. Maybe it's teaching you resilience. Maybe it's showing you which relationships are real and which ones aren't. Maybe it's revealing a weakness you need to strengthen. Instead of asking, "Why me?" start asking, "What is this teaching me?" That one question can completely shift how you experience hardship. Next, channel the emotion into action. Pain creates an incredible amount of energy. If you don't direct it, it will consume you. But if you channel it, it can propel you forward like nothing else. Think about athletes who train harder after a loss, entrepreneurs who build a new company after a failure, or individuals who transform their bodies after years of insecurity. They didn't avoid their pain, they harnessed it. Here's a practical way to do this. Write down exactly what hurt you and how it made you feel. Get it all out. Then right beneath it, write what you're going to do about it. Turn those emotions into a plan. For example, if you were betrayed by someone, use that pain to fuel a new level of independence and strength. If you failed at a goal, use that frustration to fuel relentless preparation for your next attempt. Another powerful truth is that pain builds empathy and purpose. When you've gone through struggles, you gain a deeper understanding of others. You can connect with people in ways you never could before. Many of the world's greatest leaders and visionaries were once broken by pain, and that very pain gave them the compassion and drive to change lives. Your struggle could become the foundation for someone else's hope. Of course, there's a temptation to stay in the story of your pain, to wear it like an identity. I'm the person who was hurt. I'm the one who failed. But you are not your pain. It's part of your story, not the whole book. If you define yourself by what happened to you, you stay stuck. If you define yourself by what you do with what happened, you become unstoppable. Remember this: pressure creates diamonds. Without the intense heat and pressure, a diamond would never form. The same is true for you. Your struggles, heartbreaks, and failures are shaping you into something stronger and more brilliant than you can imagine, if you allow them to. Pain will always be part of life, but suffering is optional. Suffering happens when you resist pain instead of using it. The next time life knocks you down, pause and make a decision. Will this pain control me, or will I control it? When you decide to turn pain into fuel, something powerful happens. Challenges stop feeling like curses and start feeling like opportunities. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start declaring, "Try me." And in that moment, you rise above the pain and step into a new level of strength. Use your pain. Let it light a fire inside you. Let it push you to grow, to evolve, and to create a life so strong that nothing can shake it. Pain doesn't have to be the end of your story. It can be the beginning of your greatest chapter. Chapter 11. Master your morning. Master your life. The way you start your day sets the tone for everything that follows. Think about it. Have you ever woken up late, rushed through your morning, skipped breakfast, and scrambled to get out the door? How did the rest of that day go? Chances are, you felt stressed, distracted, and behind before you even began. Now imagine the opposite. You wake up with intention. You give yourself time to think, move, and prepare. Instead of reacting to chaos, you create calm and focus. That's the power of mastering your mornings. Most people underestimate their mornings. They think those first few hours don't matter as long as they get through the day. But mornings are more than just the start. They are the foundation. Your brain is like a sponge in those early hours, soaking up whatever you feed it. If you feed it stress, noise, and negativity, that's what will shape your decisions for the rest of the day. If you feed it clarity, energy, and purpose, you'll carry that strength with you into everything you do. Here's the truth. If you win the morning, you win the day. And if you win enough days in a row, you win your life. Discipline thrives when it has structure, and there is no better place to build structure than in your morning routine. The first step to mastering your morning is waking up with intention. Don't just roll out of bed because you have to. Wake up because you choose to. Set a time to rise that gives you space to breathe before the world starts making demands. This doesn't mean you need to wake up at 4 a.m., but you do need consistency. When you wake up at the same time every day, your body and mind develop a rhythm, and that rhythm creates stability. Next, start your day in silence, not chaos. Most people reach for their phones the second they open their eyes. They scroll through messages, news, and social media, filling their minds with other people's agendas before they've even had a moment to think. Don't do that. Instead, take a few minutes to sit quietly, breathe deeply, and set your intention for the day. Even 5 minutes of stillness can create a sense of control and focus that lasts for hours. From there, move your body. You don't have to run a marathon or spend an hour at the gym. Just do something to wake up your muscles and get your blood flowing. Stretch, walk, do push-ups, whatever works for you. Physical movement in the morning isn't just about fitness. It's about signaling to your brain that it's time to wake up, rise up, and take action. Another powerful element of a strong morning routine is feeding your mind. Read a few pages of an inspiring book. Listen to an uplifting audiobook. Journal your thoughts and goals. Your mind is most receptive in the morning, so give it information and ideas that fuel growth rather than drain it. Perhaps the most important piece of mastering your mornings is planning your day before it starts. Don't let the day control you. Decide in advance how you'll control it. Write down your top 3 priorities. These are not just tasks to check off, but actions that move you closer to your bigger vision. When you begin the day with clear priorities, you avoid getting lost in the noise of busyness. Now you might be thinking, this all sounds great, but my mornings are crazy. That's exactly why you need this routine. Structure creates calm. Even if you only have 20 minutes, you can use those minutes with intention, instead of letting them slip away in chaos. The key isn't perfection, it's consistency. Small repeated actions lead to big results. Mastering your morning isn't about adding pressure to your life, it's about creating a strong launch pad. When you take control of the first part of your day, you send a powerful message to yourself. I am in charge of my time, I am in charge of my life. That message builds confidence and discipline like nothing else. Remember, discipline is built through repetition. The first week of a new routine might feel awkward. The second week will feel easier. By the third week, it will start to feel natural. Soon you won't have to think about it. You'll simply wake up and do what needs to be done, because it has become part of who you are. Here's a simple challenge to start tomorrow morning. Don't touch your phone for the first 30 minutes after you wake up. Use that time to breathe, move, and plan. It may seem small, but this single habit can transform your sense of control and focus. Your mornings are a reflection of your life. If you want to change your life, change how you begin each day. Take ownership of those precious first hours, and you'll find that discipline becomes easier, decisions become clearer, and your days become far more productive. Master your morning, and you won't just improve your day, you'll transform your future. Chapter 12. Build habits that stick for life. Discipline isn't just about making the right choice once. It's about making the right choice again and again until it becomes automatic. That's the real power of habits. Habits are the foundation of your life. They shape your actions, your results, and ultimately your identity. The things you do repeatedly, whether good or bad, determine the direction of your future far more than any single decision ever could. Think about it. Most of what you do each day happens on autopilot. The way you brush your teeth, how you tie your shoes, the route you take to work, all of it happens without much thought. That's the beauty of habits. Once they're built, they don't drain your willpower. The problem is, many people run their lives on bad habits without even realizing it. They've programmed themselves to repeat behaviors that hold them back, like procrastinating, overeating, or wasting hours on social media. The good news, you can reprogram yourself. You can design habits that serve you instead of sabotage you. The first step to building habits that stick is starting small. Most people fail because they try to change too much, too fast. They declare, I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m., go to the gym every day, quit sugar, read for an hour, and meditate, all at once. That kind of drastic change is overwhelming, and when they inevitably slip, they give up completely. Instead, focus on one small habit at a time. If you want to get in shape, start with just 5 minutes of movement each morning. If you want to read more, commit to a single page a day. It may feel insignificant at first, but small habits grow into big results over time. Here's why this works. Small habits are easy to repeat, and repetition is what creates permanence. It's like laying bricks. One brick by itself doesn't build a wall, but if you keep adding brick after brick, eventually you have something strong and lasting. The same goes for your habits. Consistency matters more than intensity. The second step is to attach your new habit to an existing one. This is called habit stacking. Your current routines are already deeply wired into your brain, so linking a new action to something you already do makes it easier to remember. For example, if you want to start journaling, do it right after you brush your teeth at night. If you want to practice gratitude, say 3 things you're thankful for every morning while you drink your coffee. The trigger of the old habit automatically reminds you of the new one. Next, make the habit rewarding. Our brains are wired to repeat behaviors that feel good. If a habit feels like pure punishment, you won't stick with it. That doesn't mean you need to bribe yourself with junk food every time you exercise, but you should find a way to make the process enjoyable. Listen to your favorite music while you clean the house. Track your progress on a calendar and watch the streak grow. Celebrate small wins. When your brain associates the habit with positive feelings, it becomes much easier to maintain. At the same time, remove friction from the good habits and add friction to the bad ones. If you want to start eating healthier, keep nutritious snacks visible and ready to grab, and hide or throw away junk food. If you want to read more, keep a book on your nightstand instead of your phone. On the flip side, if you want to break a bad habit, make it inconvenient. For instance, if you spend too much time on social media, delete the apps from your phone or log out each time so it takes extra effort to access them. Accountability plays a role here too. Tell someone about the habit you're trying to build. Better yet, find a partner who wants to build it with you. Knowing someone else is watching your progress adds a layer of pressure that keeps you consistent. Finally, focus on identity, not just action. Don't just say, I want to run 3 times a week. Start saying, I am a runner. Don't just say, I want to write more. Say, I am a writer. When you tie your habits to who you are, they become part of your identity, and when something is part of who you are, you naturally protect it. Breaking bad habits follows the same process, but in reverse. Identify the triggers that cause the behavior, disrupt the routine, and replace it with something healthier. Remember, you don't erase habits, you replace them. The key to habits that last is patience. In the beginning, progress feels invisible. You might not see results for weeks, even months. But beneath the surface, change is happening. One day, it will all click, and you'll realize how far you've come. Building lasting habits isn't about perfection. You'll have days when you miss, when you slip up. That's okay. What matters is getting back on track quickly. Success isn't built on never falling. It's built on never staying down. Your habits are the blueprint of your future. If you want a different life, you must create different patterns. Start small. Be consistent. And remember, every action you take is a vote for the person you are becoming. Build habits that align with the life you want, and over time, you won't just be doing disciplined things, you'll become a disciplined person, and that identity will stick with you for life. Chapter 13. Lead yourself before you lead others. Everyone wants to be a leader in some way. Maybe you want to lead a team, a business, a family, or even a community. Leadership sounds exciting. It's inspiring. It's a position people respect. But here's a hard truth that most people don't realize. You cannot effectively lead anyone else until you've learned how to lead yourself. Think about it. Would you trust a captain who can't steer their own ship? Would you follow a guide who doesn't know the trail? Leadership always starts with self-leadership. If you don't have discipline, if you don't live by the values you preach, people will see right through you. They might listen to your words for a while, but eventually they'll follow your actions instead. Self-leadership means taking full responsibility for your life. No blaming, no excuses, no waiting for someone else to fix things. It's about being the kind of person you would want to follow. That begins with your habits, your choices, and your mindset. Before you can inspire others to change, you must first show that change is possible by living it yourself. The first step to leading yourself is clarity. You need to know who you are and what you stand for. What are your values? What principles are non-negotiable in your life? Without clarity, you'll be easily swayed by circumstances or the opinions of others. Great leaders have a compass inside them. They know what they believe, and they act according to those beliefs, even when it's hard, even when no one is watching. Once you have clarity, the next step is consistency. It's not enough to do the right thing once in a while. Self-leadership requires showing up day after day, even when it's inconvenient. If you say you value health, but you constantly skip workouts and eat poorly, your actions don't match your words. If you say you value honesty, but you tell little lies to avoid discomfort, you erode trust, not just with others, but with yourself. Consistency builds credibility. When people see you living your values consistently, they'll know you're someone they can rely on. Another key part of self-leadership is discipline under pressure. It's easy to be disciplined when everything is going well. The real test comes when stress hits, when challenges pile up, when you're tired and tempted to quit. How you respond in those moments determines the kind of leader you truly are. If you lose control, panic, or make reckless decisions, others will sense it. But if you remain calm, focused, and steady, you'll give others the confidence to keep going too. Self-leadership also means holding yourself accountable. It's tempting to let yourself off the hook. It's easy to say, "No one will notice if I cut this corner," or "It's fine if I skip just this once." But every time you break a promise to yourself, you weaken your own leadership. The strongest leaders are those who hold themselves to higher standards than anyone else does. They don't need someone watching over them to do the right thing. They do it because it's who they are. One of the most powerful ways to lead yourself is by managing your emotions. Emotions are natural, but they can cloud your judgment if you let them control you. A true leader knows how to pause, breathe, and respond with intention instead of reacting impulsively. This doesn't mean you suppress your feelings. It means you channel them. Anger can become determination. Fear can become courage. Sadness can become empathy. When you master your emotions, you set the tone for everyone around you. Remember, leadership isn't about titles or authority. You don't need a fancy position to be a leader. You simply need to be someone others want to follow. And people are drawn to strength, integrity, and vision. When they see you leading yourself with discipline and purpose, they'll naturally be inspired to rise to your level. Here's a question to ask yourself: would you want to follow you? If the answer is no, don't feel discouraged. See it as an invitation to grow. Start small, keep promises to yourself, build daily routines that reflect the person you want to become. Over time you'll develop the inner strength that makes others take notice. Leading yourself before leading others isn't just about influence, it's about impact. When you change your own life, you become living proof that change is possible. Your example speaks louder than any speech or instruction ever could. So before you focus on leading a team, a company, or a family, focus on leading you. Set the standard, walk the path first. When others see your discipline, your resilience, and your consistency, they won't just listen to your words, they'll follow your actions. And that's when real leadership begins. Chapter 14. Stay disciplined when no one's watching. It's easy to stay disciplined when people are watching you. When there's a coach, a boss, a mentor, or even friends keeping an eye on you, you naturally step up your game. You don't want to let them down. You don't want to look weak. That kind of external accountability can push you to perform at a high level. But here's the true test of character. What do you do when no one's watching? The answer to that question reveals who you really are. It's not the moments in public that define you. It's the quiet, private choices you make when there's no audience, no applause, and no consequences, except the ones you create for yourself. That's where real discipline lives. Think about it. Anyone can give their best effort during a big event, when everyone is paying attention. But the people who achieve extraordinary success are the ones who show up day after day, doing the hard, boring, unglamorous work when nobody even knows about it. They're like icebergs. You only see the tip of their success, but beneath the surface are countless hours of silent, unseen effort. The problem is, our world has trained us to seek validation. We're used to posting our achievements, sharing our progress, and getting likes and comments that can create a dangerous trap. If you only work hard when someone notices, you'll never reach your true potential. Because the reality is, most of the time no one will notice. The world isn't watching every move you make, and that's exactly why your private discipline matters so much. The first step to staying disciplined in private is knowing your standards. You must decide who you want to be, not based on external rewards, but based on your own values. What kind of person do you want to see in the mirror? What behaviors will make you proud of yourself, even if nobody else ever finds out? When you have a personal code of conduct, you don't need external pressure to stay on track. You become accountable to yourself. The second step is building habits that run on autopilot. When you have strong routines, you don't need to rely on motivation or outside forces to get things done. For example, if your routine includes reading for 20 minutes every morning, exercising before breakfast, or reviewing your goals before bed, you'll do these things automatically over time. It stops being a question of whether or not you'll do it. It just becomes part of who you are. Another powerful tool is visualizing the long-term consequences of your private actions. For instance, skipping one workout might not seem like a big deal today. Eating one unhealthy meal won't destroy your health overnight. But imagine repeating that behavior over weeks, months, or years. The compound effect of small private choices is massive. Every decision you make when no one is looking is a vote for the kind of future you're building. It also helps to create invisible accountability. This doesn't mean someone literally watching you, but it does mean having systems that keep you honest. Journaling is a simple example. When you write down your progress each day, you create a record you can't hide from. Even if no one else reads it, you'll see the truth in black and white. Another method is tracking habits on a calendar or app. There's something deeply motivating about keeping a streak alive. Staying disciplined in private also requires mental toughness. When you're alone, it's easy to justify shortcuts. No one will know if you cheat on your diet. No one will know if you skip a task, but you will know. And every time you break a promise to yourself, you weaken your identity. On the flip side, every time you follow through in private, you strengthen your sense of self-respect. Over time, you start to see yourself as a person who always does the right thing, even when it's hard. That identity becomes unshakable. Here's a truth that may sting. If you can't stay disciplined when no one's watching, you'll always depend on external motivation, and external motivation fades. People get busy. Life gets noisy. If your success depends on someone cheering you on, you'll crumble the moment the cheering stops. The most successful people in the world share one thing in common. They do the work in silence. They wake up early and grind while the world is sleeping. They put in hours of practice when no one is clapping. Then when the spotlight finally comes, it looks like they succeeded overnight. But the truth is, their private discipline created their public success. Starting today, challenge yourself to raise your private standards. Do the extra rep at the gym even when no one's counting. Put in the extra hour of study when no one will ever see it. Make the right choice even when there's no reward except knowing you stayed true to yourself. Because at the end of the day, discipline isn't about impressing others. It's about becoming the kind of person you deeply respect. When you stay disciplined in the dark, you build a strength that shines brightly in the light. And when the world finally sees your results, you'll know the truth. You earned every bit of it in the moments no one else saw. Chapter 15. The Discipline Code, Your Unshakable Standard. By now you've learned that discipline isn't just about following a few rules or forcing yourself to work harder. It's a way of life. It's a personal code you live by, a set of principles that guide every decision you make, no matter the situation. This is what I call the discipline code. When you create your own code and commit to it, you become unshakable. You no longer rely on motivation, willpower, or outside approval. Your code becomes the standard you hold yourself to, whether anyone is watching or not. Most people drift through life without a code. They make decisions based on how they feel in the moment. If they're tired, they skip the workout. If they're tempted, they give in. If something feels uncomfortable, they avoid it. Their life becomes a series of reactions instead of intentional actions. But here's the truth. Feelings are fleeting, and circumstances are unpredictable. If you live by them, you'll never reach your full potential. A personal code gives you stability. It's like having a compass in the middle of a storm. No matter what chaos surrounds you, you know which direction to go, because your principles never change. Your code is your anchor when life tries to pull you off course. So how do you create your own discipline code? It starts with defining your non-negotiables. These are the values and behaviors you will not compromise, no matter what. For example, you might decide, I don't lie, even when it's uncomfortable, or I don't quit on myself, even when it's hard. These non-negotiables form the backbone of your code. They don't bend with circumstances or moods. They are unbreakable. Next, choose a few daily disciplines that align with those values. These are small, consistent actions that reinforce your code every single day. It might be waking up at a certain time, journaling each morning, exercising for a set amount of time, or reading for personal growth. The key is consistency. These daily practices become rituals that remind you of who you are and what you stand for. Your code should also include standards for how you respond to challenges. Life will test you. There's no avoiding that. You might face rejection, failure, or unexpected setbacks. Instead of reacting emotionally, decide in advance how you will handle those moments. For example, when I fail, I learn and try again. Or when I'm under pressure, I breathe, stay calm, and keep moving forward. When you have predetermined responses, you're less likely to fall apart when the storm hits. Here's something powerful to remember. Your discipline code isn't about perfection. It's about direction. You will make mistakes. You will have days when you fall short. That doesn't mean you've broken your code. What matters is that you recognize it quickly and return to your path without hesitation. The quicker you get back on track, the stronger your discipline becomes. Living by a code also means holding yourself accountable, even in private. When you break a commitment to yourself, no one else may notice, but you will. And every time you let yourself off the hook, you weaken your identity. Conversely, every time you honor your code, even when it's hard, you strengthen your sense of self-respect. Over time, that respect becomes unshakable confidence. One of the greatest benefits of having a disciplined code is clarity. Decisions become easier because you already know your standard. If a choice doesn't align with your code, the answer is simple: no. You stop wasting energy debating with yourself or rationalizing bad behavior. Your code makes the decision for you. Imagine for a moment what your life would look like if you lived this way. Imagine waking up each day with clarity, purpose and strength. Imagine knowing exactly what actions to take because they're rooted in unchanging principles. Imagine how others would see you, not just as someone who talks about discipline, but as someone who embodies it. The world needs people like that. People who stand firm when others crumble, people who live with integrity and inspire others through their example. That can be you. But it starts with a decision to create your discipline code and live by it, no matter what. Here's your challenge. Write down 3 non-negotiable principles that define who you are. Then choose 3 daily disciplines that align with those principles. Commit to them fully. Review them every morning and every evening. Let them guide your thoughts, your actions, and your words. Over time, you'll notice something incredible. You won't have to force yourself to be disciplined anymore. It will become natural, automatic. You'll no longer question whether or not you can achieve your goals. You'll simply follow your code, and success will follow you. The discipline code isn't just a set of rules. It's a way of living that creates freedom, strength, and lasting fulfillment. When you live by your code, you don't just change your habits, you change your identity. You become the kind of person who commands respect, earns trust, and achieves greatness. Remember this, the world doesn't need more people who drift. It needs leaders, people with courage, clarity, and unwavering standards. Be one of those people. Live by your discipline code, and you will not only transform your own life, but you'll also inspire others to rise higher. And that is how true legacy is built. Conclusion. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It's the invisible thread connecting your dreams to your daily actions. Without it, even the biggest goals remain nothing more than wishful thinking. With it, even the impossible becomes achievable. Throughout this audiobook, we've explored the many layers of discipline, the foundation of purpose, the power of habits, the strength of mental toughness, and the importance of staying true to yourself, even when no one is watching. You've learned how to silence excuses, eliminate distractions, embrace discomfort, and build systems that make discipline a natural part of your life. You've also discovered how to lead yourself with integrity and how to create a personal code that guides every choice you make. But here's the thing, knowledge alone isn't enough. Listening to these words won't change your life unless you act on them. Discipline isn't something you understand, it's something you practice. Every single day you'll face decisions that test you. Will you take the easy path or the disciplined path? Will you let fear and excuses win, or will you stand strong and do what needs to be done? Those daily choices will shape your future far more than anything else. The good news is, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to get it right every time. What matters is that you keep showing up. If you fall, get back up quickly. If you slip, return to your path without hesitation. Every comeback strengthens your character and proves to you that you are capable of more than you once believed. As you move forward, remember this, discipline is freedom. It's not about restriction or punishment. It's about creating the life you truly want. When you master discipline, you take control of your time, your habits, and your destiny. You no longer live at the mercy of circumstances or impulses. You live by design, not by default. Your future self is waiting. The person you want to become, the stronger, wiser, more focused version of you, is built by the choices you make starting right now. Decide today to live by your discipline code. Commit to your non-negotiables. Protect your focus. Push through discomfort, and above all, honor the promises you make to yourself. 1 year from now, you'll look back in amazement at how far you've come. Others will see the results, but you'll know the truth, that your transformation was forged in quiet moments of discipline, when no one was watching. So take a deep breath, stand tall, and begin. Your journey to an unstoppable life starts with the next choice you make. Make it a disciplined one, and watch as your actions rewrite your future, one day at a time.